Welcome to rSlash Confessions, where OP divorces her husband over the blue alien from Avatar. Our next Reddit post is from Pumpkin Bubble. My husband is divorcing me over Jake Sully, and I don't care. That's right, folks, a fictional character who can't even breathe the air here on Earth. Jake Sully, popular blue alien cat daddy, has burnt my already awful marriage completely to the ground. And at this point, I couldn't possibly care less. My husband's been a controlling jerk about things before, but he's really escalated. And this whole situation feels like something that we should be talking about with Dr. Phil. I'll start by saying that I love the Avatar movies, which my husband doesn't like. I don't bother him about them. I have certain friends who are also super interested in the movies, and I'm able to connect with them about it. My husband has a history of being very aggressive when he's angry, but he's never physically attacked me before up until today, when he burst into the room where I was sleeping, screeching, threatening me, and pushing me down and into the wall. Why? Because he looked through my phone and saw that I had read fanfiction smut about my favorite character, Jake Sully. It was Tumblr, so definitely some good content. He erupted in a maniacal rage. My husband truly, genuinely believes that somehow I've cheated on him with Jake Sully the Na'vi, who is not a real person. I would like to add that my husband watches adult content. He thinks that I'm a legitimate freak of nature for looking at these things that I was reading. I disagree. Honestly, I thought the stories were tasteful and true to the lore. Anyways, picture this. You walk outside with your morning coffee to enjoy the paper. You hear faint, unhinged yelling before your neighbor emerges from his house, screaming at the top of his lungs that his wife has cheated on him with Jake Sully. You threw your family away for an effing alien! My husband has also disconnected our Wi-Fi and canceled our Disney Plus subscription in an attempt to restrict my ability to watch the Avatar movies. I have a history of self-harm, and he told me, if you kill yourself, you can meet Jake Sully. He's told his entire family and everyone we know that I'm sexually obsessed with a fictional character and that I need serious help. Jake Sully, if you're real, this is probably a good time to come scoop me up. Man, this guy missed out. When he found out you were into this, he could have just painted himself blue, braided his hair, and had the night of his life with you. Our next Reddit post is from Survivor. I once broke up with a girl because she turned the bathroom into a biohazard every time she took a dump. A few years ago, I was in a relationship with a Korean girl. I'm not talking about someone who has Korean ancestry. She was actually born and raised in Korea. So she ate a lot of kimchi, bulgogi, garlic, spicy food, etc. The first time it happened, she got up while we were watching a movie. When she came back, I needed to pee, so I went to the bathroom and immediately almost threw up. It was legitimately one of the most horrid smells I've ever experienced. I didn't say anything though, because I didn't want to embarrass her. I started buying air freshener and spraying the bathroom top to bottom every time she used it. It didn't help much. Eventually, I started to associate the sight of her with rancid poo smell. I couldn't be around her without being disgusted, so we broke up. I told her that it was because we were both busy in our personal lives. The top post is, you literally couldn't put up with her crap any longer. Okay, I just thought of something horrific. I don't know if this is true, but I'm going to share it with you because it's now in my brain. So if I have to suffer with this thought, then you have to suffer with this thought as well. Okay, so my wife is Chinese, and okay, hold on. Before you think that that's where I'm going with this story, that I'm comparing my wife to this Korean girl, that is not the case at all. I'm just saying that my wife is Chinese and she likes spicy Chinese food. I, a basic white guy, cannot tolerate spicy foods very well. And sometimes when she's cooking really spicy foods in the kitchen, it basically maces the entire kitchen. Because I guess the smoke and the fumes carry the spicy particles throughout the kitchen. So I literally have to leave the kitchen because just being in there makes me cough, it makes my nose itch, and it makes my eyes water. So this story, OP mentioned that his Korean girlfriend really likes spicy food. Is it possible to eat so much spicy food that your farts also mace the air that you're in Kind of like cooking spicy food in the kitchen. So you literally just let a couple ones rip, and then suddenly everyone in the room is crying and coughing because their eyes burn because you've literally maced everyone with your radioactive farts. Are there any spicy food lovers out there who can confirm or deny this? Is it possible to mace people with your butthole? Our next Reddit post is from Torn Trust. To cut a long story short, my fiance and I have been together for 5 years. Every year, she goes on this girls-only trip with her close friends. Something in my gut has been bothering me about these trips. Maybe it was the slight changes in her behavior afterwards, or the cryptic conversations I'd overhear. Instead of directly confronting her, I did something I'm deeply ashamed of. I hired a private investigator to watch her during her recent trip. I got back the results a few days ago, and as much as I regret violating her privacy, my suspicions weren't unfounded. The private eye presented evidence of her being unfaithful, and it shattered my heart. Now I'm caught in this storm of emotions. On the one hand, I deeply regret snooping and not trusting her enough to talk about it. On the other, the betrayal from her side feels even more significant. I love her, but I can't see a future together anymore. How do I even approach this situation? Do I confess my snooping? Or do I just end things without revealing the reason? Then, 1 week later, OP posted an update. When my fiancée returned from her trip, I tried my best to handle things maturely. I gave her a chance to be honest, asking if there was anything she wanted to share about her trip. Instead of coming clean, she gaslit me, making me question my own perceptions and reality. With the evidence I had, I confronted her about the affair. She was taken aback and immediately asked how I knew. I told her the truth, that I hired a private investigator. I didn't want to falsely accuse any of her friends like some of you suggested, even though, honestly, part of me was tempted. She was furious. I've never seen her that angry in all our years together. Additionally, feeling that it was the right thing to do, I shared the evidence with one of her friend's boyfriends so that he could be informed and consider getting tested if necessary. It was clear to both of us that our relationship had reached a breaking point. We broke up right then. Despite it being my house that I paid for, I left and checked into a hotel, giving her space and asking her to pack her things and move out. We didn't communicate for a few days. When she finally reached out, she expressed a desire to talk and perhaps find a way to mend things. But the trust was broken, and I couldn't see a future for us, so I told her no. And now, the part that I didn't see coming, she's considering pursuing palimony payments. Wait, palimony? Is that a misspelling of alimony? I've never heard of palimony before. Oh gosh, I'm stupid. I went to Google to look up what palimony was, and OP explains it in literally the next sentence. For those unaware, palimony is financial support provided to a partner in a non-marital relationship after separation. I've been informed that, due to the relationship laws in our state, this could very well be a real concern. I've initiated the process of hiring a lawyer. During our relationship, I took on the majority of the financial responsibilities, including the mortgage. We had an unspoken understanding. My money is our money, and her money is her money, due to our significant income differential. I never thought that my generosity would come back to haunt me. Man, that is cold as ice. You're going to repeatedly cheat on a man, then when he confronts you, you're going to gaslight him, then you're going to try to take his money. OP, gosh, it goes without saying, marrying this woman would have been the worst decision you've ever made in your life. Even just dating her sounds like it's probably the worst decision you've ever made, but marrying her would have made it 10 times worse. Well, OP, I wouldn't be too worried about the palimony since you have rock-solid evidence that she's been screwing some other dude, so I think the courts are going to rule in your favor. Also, having never heard of palimony before in my life, this sounds stupid. You can date someone and then they're automatically entitled to your money? What? Our next Reddit post is from Owen Mulberry. Sorry, this title's so funny. I don't stop my dogs from having gay intercourse in my front lawn to piss off my pearl-clutching neighbors. I have 2 male pit bull mixes, and they're more or less in a gay relationship with each other. They passionately hug each other a lot. I tried to stop them at first, but they just keep going right to it, so I just gave up. Well, my neighbor came over once and complained about them passionately hugging in the front yard. She was very rude about it, and I don't like her or her husband anyway, so now I only put them in the front yard. And I'll also And I'll also keep them from passionately hugging in the house if I can, so when they get out in the front yard, they do it even more. My neighbor's husband came over too and complained the other day. He's a preppy stuck-up dick. I told him it's a free country and my gay dogs can passionately hug in the front yard if they want to. He didn't like that and said that he was going to call the cops. The cops never came, but my dogs still passionately hug in the yard, and sometimes I see my neighbors shut their blinds angrily while they do it. Lol. Opie This story is so funny to me. Opie clarifies, are those concerned about the dogs? Believe me, they're fine. Yeah, it's weird and not something I'm fond of that they do, but even when I drag them off each other, they just go right back to it. I couldn't get them to stop for over a year of trying to correct it. They're both fixed. My wife thinks that they're gay. Honestly, I just think they're horny dogs. I think when one of them dies, the other is just going to start passionately hugging the couch the next day. Honestly, they're normal dogs, but they don't try to passionately hug other dogs, so I don't know exactly what they're thinking, I guess. Our next Reddit post is from Caught My Wife. I caught my wife posing naked and taking pictures of herself. She started an OnlyFans without telling me, and honestly, I'm really pissed. Who the F just decides to sell amateur adult content behind their spouse's back? I'm so effing mad about it. The part that's the most infuriating is she doesn't understand why I'm angry. It's not like I'm cheating on you. You're talking to tons of horny men and selling them pictures of your naked body. How the F is that not cheating? I asked her if she'd be okay with me talking to women online and sending them pictures of my dick. She said, that's different. How the F is that different? I feel like I'm going insane. I told her I wanted her to stop, and she said that it's not up to me. I'm consulting with my attorney today, and he's in the process of drafting up divorce papers. We already had our fair share of issues that we were working on, but this is my final straw. I'm just done. All right, okay. It is okay to set boundaries in the relationship, like, you will not hit me. That is a boundary that you will not cross. You will not go sleep with other people. That is a boundary that you will not cross. However, just because something is a boundary doesn't mean that it's good. Not all boundaries are created equal. I could say, my boundary is that you're not allowed to leave the kitchen. You must stay in the kitchen at all times and cook, and that is the only thing you're allowed to do ever, and you may only speak to me when you serve me meals. I would like you to respect my boundary. My other boundary is I want you to respect that I can go screw as many people as I want. Like it's okay. Okay, not all boundaries are good. I think that's an important lesson to learn in life. And this woman, unfortunately, hasn't figured that out yet. Or she's just, lying and turning into a big fight because she wants to get her way. I actually wonder, what's possible here? I wonder if she also wants to get a divorce, and her starting an OnlyFans is her preparing for the divorce because, obviously once they break up, they're going to split income. So she's basically starting a side hustle so that when they split, she can have a flow of money coming in and also a flow of boyfriends coming in, potentially. Because I don't know how she could possibly expect this to not end up in a divorce. You know what's so weird to me is this woman's acting like it's totally normal and that doing it behind her husband's back is also totally reasonable. But here's the thing. If you compared this to something completely innocent and harmless, like starting an online business, which is basically what OnlyFans is, how could you not share that with your partner? That's so interesting. Who's going to start an online business where they sell, candles or whatever, and literally just never mention it to their partner? And suddenly they start buying industrial grade candle making equipment and start shipping out thousands of boxes of candles and just do it secretly without ever mentioning it? Okay, obviously that's absurd. The reason why I'm pointing this out is because she knows what she's doing is wrong, and she's intentionally hiding it, because if it were any other normal situation where you start an online business, how could you not talk about it? I mean, unless one of the problems OP mentioned is that they never talk about their lives, and they're just basically roommates who occasionally pass each other in the hallway, maybe. Well, in any event, I guess this marriage is over. Our next Reddit post is from Gold Woodpecker. My husband and I have been together for 3 years, married for 2. I recently found out that he's been talking to and planning meetups with his ex behind my back. He tells me very little about his talks with her, if he tells me at all. I found out by accident, and now I check almost daily to see the extent of his conversations with her. He doesn't know that I know they're talking. I have screenshots and pictures of the conversation, which I plan to use when I leave. Father's Day is coming up, and I plan to make it the best he's ever had, then leave the next day while he's at work. All of our family pictures will be replaced with photos of their conversations. A copy of the divorce papers will be on the coffee table, and I'll be long gone. I've busted my butt to help build a life that this man wants, and he goes behind my back and then lies to me about it. I'm done and I've had enough. Am I the butthole? Probably, but at this point, I don't care. That was r/confessions, and if you like this content, check out my podcast where I publish the exact same episodes. Also, hit that subscribe button because I put out new Reddit videos every single day.